Hello everyone and welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Matt, and in today's video we're going to be talking all about my 2025 goals Planty edition. I usually am not the type of person to make goals or New Year's resolutions. It's just not something I'm really into. I believe that we should be improving and finding ways to better ourselves throughout the whole year and not just this one part of the year where we set these New Year's resolutions, which honestly sometimes even lead us to fail even harder and get disappointed in ourselves. So I personally don't make any resolutions, but what I do want to do is reflect on some things that I have been doing in 2024 and kind of some things that I want to maybe change or improve in 2025 when it comes to my houseplants. Now, in general, I would say that I am in a pretty good spot when it comes to my houseplants right now. I am pretty happy with my collection. My pests are pretty under control, like I don't have any major infestations. I'm happy with how they are styled for the most part. And yeah, I'm just really happy with my collection, especially in the last couple of months. I don't know, I have been just really working hard on getting my collection to a very good place, and I think I managed to do so. However, there are definitely some things that I want to improve moving forward. And hopefully 2025 will be the year of improvement and making my houseplant collection even better and even more beautiful. So the first thing that I have on my list is to take better care of my current collection and stay on top of pest management. Now, like I said, I'm pretty happy with my current collection. I did add a lot of plants in the last couple of months, but for the rest of the year, for the rest of 2024, I haven't really been buying any plants, especially like during the summer and spring. I haven't been buying new plants, so this fall has been kind of when I added quite a bit more to my collection, but I am at a number that I'm happy with, that's manageable for me, that's not too overwhelming, and that I can manage alongside my other obligations. So I am fine and happy with the number of houseplants that I currently own. Now, of course, would I like to add some more, especially some like really pretty ones? Yes. However, if I don't add anything new in 2025, which I will. Let's just not even that's not even up for debate. Of course I will add new plants. We all add new plants. What I'm trying to say is that I'm happy with the collection where it's at right now, and I'm happy with the number of plants that I have. I currently have around 120-ish plants, give or take, and that number to me is fine. I would go up to 150, but I don't think I would go above 150. I think that would be a little bit too much for me to handle right now because, you know, I do have a full-time job. I do have this YouTube thing. I do have some other hobbies that I want to enjoy. And I feel like up to 150 plants is a good number for me where I can actually take care of each individual plant and give it the care that it needs and also deserves without feeling overwhelmed and burnt out. Now, of course, currently it is winter time, and during the winter time, plant care is obviously a lot easier. Plants need less water, they need less fertilization, they need a lot less frequent repots, so there is just a lot less to do in winters. So a plant collection consisting of 100 plants is a lot more manageable in the winter times than in the summer times, especially if you're going on vacation or something like that. So I'm trying to always be mindful of that just because I'm having an easy time right now handling all of my plants in the middle of the winter, it doesn't mean automatically that I'm gonna have the same experience during the summer, because obviously during summer it gets really hot up here, and I have to water some of these plants 2, maybe even 3 times a week. So I'm trying to keep that in mind and trying to limit my buying at least a little bit. Like, I'm not gonna go on a no buy or a plant ban. I don't really believe in those things, but I do want to just be conscious about my buying. And I only try to buy plants that I really want. Back when I started my plant journey, and I think this goes for everybody, we would collect all the plants. We wanted them all. We were collecting them like freaking Pokemon. But right now I am really focused on just trying to find the plants that I really want to add to my collection and not just have filler plants. And I think I'm pretty good when it comes to that. Like, I feel like I definitely have some filler plants like this snake plant, but when it comes to filler plants, I have one rule, and that is that they need to be easy care and they need to be able to tolerate like lower light conditions. For example, this Centravaria, this snake plant, really doesn't get a lot of care. It's totally a filler plant, but it just looks great in this little space, and I just love to have greenery in every part of my house. I know some people think that's a little bit too much and overwhelming, but I don't care. I love it. I love it when I can just look at any part of my room or house and see a plant. It just brings me instantly so much joy, and I think it just adds so much life and character to literally any spot. But apart from those like fillery plants that I still love, my collection is mostly consistent of plants that I really love and want in my collection. There are a couple where I am toying with the idea of maybe rehoming them, but as of right now, I really am happy with my collection. Now, of course, there are some plants that I am struggling with, but that is a whole nother problem. However, I still love these plants. For example, my Ficus triangularis, I'm looking at it right now. It does not want to grow. It looks like a little stick with like a couple of leaves, and it's driving me insane, but I absolutely love this plant and I don't want to get rid of it, so I will keep trying with that plant. And as far as pest management goes, I think I have been really good with keeping up with pests and managing my infestations. Like, I really didn't have any major infestations. I did have a spurt of spider mites during the summertime where it seemed like every single plant in my collection was affected by spider mites. But thankfully, the peppermint and tea tree oil and alcohol treatment has been working wonderfully for spider mites. And ever since I started using that, I really haven't had problems with spider mites. They do pop up here and there, but it's nothing bad. It's manageable. I do still have thrips. That's just my kryptonite, I guess. They just never want to go away. I can never get rid of them fully, but I'm fine with it. Like, whenever I see them, I just treat them or remove a leaf if I can. I try not to stress about it too much, but basically moving forward, I just want to keep up with this routine and routinely spray my plants, shower my plants. Once summer comes, I definitely love to take all of my plants periodically outside and give them a good hose down. That's definitely a big benefit of owning like a yard and a hose, because then you can actually take some of your plants outside and shower them that way. I do have a couple of big plants that I just cannot shower inside, like my Monstera behind me. And it's just great to take plants like that outside and give them a good hose down. Also, another thing that I want to add to my plant care routine is wiping down leaves. And I mean, like, really just getting some kind of cleaning solution, getting a microfiber cloth, and just really getting in there, cleaning the leaves manually, because that's not something I do because it's very time consuming. But I did it the other day, and I found it, first of all, I found it very relaxing. It was very meditative. It was very fun. And second of all, it just made me appreciate my plants. It made me appreciate their structure. It made me appreciate the way they grow, the way they look, the way the leaves feel, and the way the leaves look once I give them like that good, nice polish. So that's something I really want to add to my collection or to my routine. It's not going to be something that I do often because, like I said, it is a little bit time consuming and tedious, but it is a very cozy and relaxing activity that I can do, for example, at the end of a stressful workday. The next goal on my list is to get better at styling my plants. Now, I would say on the whole, my plant collection, I'm happy with how they're styled. I have like a couple of setups, like my windshield shelf over here, and I am generally happy with how my space is looking and how the plants are incorporated into the space. But I want to definitely try to style them a little bit more, find cooler pots for them, but pots are so freaking expensive. They are crazy expensive. And unfortunately, thrifting and the thrift culture isn't really a thing here in my country. There are only like a couple of thrift stores, and those usually are only focused on clothing. So there is not, I don't think there is like one store that sells like actual thrifted pots and stuff like that where I could get like pots at a good price. There are antique shops, but those are crazy expensive because they are antiques. And I see that people do find really cool vessels at the thrift store for like a decent price. So I would love to go that route, but unfortunately it is not available for me. So I pretty much have to purchase all of my pots at like full price, which is very, very expensive. However, if I do see a pot that I really like, I don't mind spending the money on it. I generally don't mind spending the money on a planty hobby. Now, of course, it has to be within reason, right? If it's between paying your bills and buying a new plant, you should pay the bills. But for any like spare cash, I think it's fine to invest into a hobby, because you're not only investing into a hobby, you're also investing into your happiness. Because if a hobby brings you joy and the thing that you bought is bringing you joy, I think that is totally valuable. We live in a time where it's all about making money. It's all about saving money. It's all about getting the biggest house, the best car. It's all about just hustling and always having a giant bank account. But in my opinion, yes, having security and money in the bank is obviously a huge priority for all of us, and it's so important, but it should not come at the cost of you not having any hobbies and you not enjoying your life. Because the fact that I have like a certain amount of money in my bank account means literally nothing to me, because I could literally walk outside my house, get hit by a car and die. And that money doesn't mean a lot to me. So within reason, I do want to use the money that I work for to pay for a hobby that I enjoy and that brings me a lot of happiness. So I don't mind spending money on the planty hobby, but I will say that it is very, very freaking expensive. Going back to my point, I just want to style them better. I want to find cool plant pot combos. I want to get more into kind of like making cool decorative arrangements with my plants. One of my biggest inspirations for that is, of course, Benji Plants. I think we all follow him for his amazing, amazing design sensibility. And I mean, the way he styles his plants is truly, truly inspiring. Not only his plants, his whole space is really inspiring. But I just love how he creates all of those cool planty displays. Now, I don't want to move like completely into that spectrum, because I'm not the kind of person that's gonna have, you know, a minimal look with like just one plant in a cool pot. That's not something that I strive for. I still want to have a jungle. I still want to have a lot of plants. I still want to grow my plants beautifully and well. But I do want to have basically a mix of, you know, plants that are in transparent nursery pots growing up a moss pole, and also plants that are planted in really pretty decorative ways. And I just want to kind of combine the best of both worlds and basically have just a beautiful, beautiful little jungle. And speaking of moss poles, that is actually my next item on my goals list, and it is to reevaluate my plants on moss poles. And what I mean by that is, who needs a moss pole? Because I have a lot of plants on moss poles. I have a lot of them. I want to be one of those people that just grows a plant on a stake and it still sizes up and it's looking gorgeous. And again, we're kind of going back to the styling point, where it's kind of a styling issue, because yes, moss poles are amazing. They're great support for your plants, especially when they attach to it. However, they're a lot of maintenance. They don't look the prettiest all the time. I don't find them useful for every single one of my plants, if that makes any sense. Like, there are plants that definitely look great on a moss pole, like my pothos. I think my pothos look great on my moss pole. But for example, my El Choco, and if you watched my recent video where I chopped up my El Choco, I did not like the way that plant looked on a moss pole. So I'm gonna try to grow it not on a moss pole. We will see how that will go. But basically, I just want to reevaluate who needs a moss pole, who doesn't, who looks better with one, and who doesn't really look great on a moss pole. And also, moss poles are just a lot of work. They are a lot of work to keep moist, to extend, and it would be nice to cut down on the plants that I have on moss poles, just so I can also cut down on the time that I am maintaining them. So that is definitely something that I want to work on in 2025 and really reevaluate all of my plants on my moss poles. And yeah, there's definitely going to be some changes in my collection. Now, the next point is not related to my houseplants, but actually to outdoor planting. Now, I don't know if you can see, but behind me there is there is a window, and that next to that window is a door, and that door leads to my balcony. Now, it's not a big balcony, it's a small balcony, but it is completely empty. Now, that balcony gets blasted by sun. It's not covered by anything. There are no trees. There's not a house in front of it, and it gets blasted by sun in the summer. And I would love to keep plants up here. However, whenever I tried, the plants looked miserable. They were drying out like hotcakes. They would burn. And I'm talking about outdoor plants. I'm not even talking about household plants. I tried to put some house plants outside on that balcony, burned. Crispy, crunchy cookie cracker. But I'm talking about outdoor plants. I have a hard time keeping up with plants that are outdoors. I don't know why, but indoor plants, I got it, no problem. But for some reason, I just cannot wrap my head around outdoor plants. And they just get neglected. I am very much a out of sight, out of mind kind of person, which is why I also don't have, for example, a Kia greenhouse cabinet, because if there is a door that I need to open in order to get to my plant and water it, forget it. That's too many steps for me. That's too many steps. I would love to have outdoor plants, but I need to get my shit together. So my goal is to really just get some outdoor plants, do my research, and find plants that can handle full-on sun, that are maybe a little bit more drought tolerant. I have been thinking of getting cacti and stuff like that, and really making a cute display outside on my balcony, because it's not huge, but there is enough space to put a couple of plants, and I think it would just look so pretty, because I love to sit out there in the evenings or early mornings during the summertime, read my book, and I think it would just be so cute to be surrounded by plants. If you have any outdoor plant recommendations that are drought tolerant and love full sun, please leave them down in the comment section below, because I definitely need help with that, and I just need to kind of motivate myself to go out there more often and actually take care of those plants. So that is something that I really want to work on in the next year, because I really would love to just have an outdoor garden, and I think it will look just so cute. And also it would be really fun to get all the terracotta pots and have them all outside. I think terracotta looks gorgeous. The reason why I don't have it inside is because usually it can be a little bit of a hassle when it comes to carrying stuff, because it's kind of heavy. Inside, I do like to have a little bit more variety when it comes to my pots, but I think on the balcony, a full-on terracotta jungle vibe would be really cool. So hopefully come springtime, we will make that goal come true. I think that will look really stunning. I actually do have some plants that I'm keeping inside right now that I do want to move outside as well, just because I know that they would do better outside, but I'll definitely put them in the shade and not on the balcony in the full sun. I have a shady area downstairs, but again, I just when plants are outside, for some reason I just forget about them and they get so neglected. I will work on it. I will freaking work on it, okay? Because I really want cute balcony garden. I think when people have nice balcony gardens, I remember when I visited Barcelona, everybody had super pretty plants on their balconies, and I was just oh, I want that. Mark my words, 2025 is the year of the cute balcony garden. And my final and last goal for the next year is to be more patient. Now, this is something that I always talk about. It's something that I want to encourage everybody who is in this hobby to have patience, because plants are living organisms. They are never going to be perfect. If you want a perfect plant, you just have to get a fake one. And I think I just have to learn that yellowing leaves are okay, browning tips are okay, pests are okay, root rot is okay. None of these things are fun to deal with. However, it just is part of owning houseplants. It's part of having these living organisms that are not meant for the inside in our homes. Just the sheer fact that we can grow all of these plants, there are so many plants out there that can be grown and that are cultivated to be grown inside. Just that fact alone is insane, because these plants usually grow outside. They usually grow in the tropics, and we can grow them literally anywhere in the world, in our houses. And I think that is such a gift, and I feel like we take it for granted so often, and I don't want to do that anymore. I want to cherish each and single one of my plants, even with all of its flaws. And I just want to enjoy this hobby to the fullest, even throughout the hard times. They're just such wonderful additions to my house, to my life. And I know it sounds kind of sappy, but I truly believe that plants have taught me so much, and they continue to teach me so much, and they are such a great companion. However silly that may sound, I love this hobby so much, and I don't want it to get ruined by the little things that truly don't matter. If you look at plants outside in nature, they are never perfect. They look actually a lot worse than they look indoors in our houses when we actually do take proper care of them. So I just want to encourage all of you to be patient with your plants, accept them with all of their flaws, and just enjoy this hobby. Of course, it has its ups and downs, just like everything else in life. This is truly such a wonderful hobby that we get to enjoy. And I think if you love houseplants, you should consider yourself lucky, because it's just so wonderful to have a piece of nature in our house and be connected with it and get to touch and play and look at these living beings that are truly so magical. That got a little bit wishy-washy at the end, but I truly just love this hobby so much with my whole heart, and I'm so grateful that I found it, and I cannot wait to see what the years will bring, how this hobby will evolve, and how I will evolve with it. And that about wraps up my goals for 2025. Do you have any plenty goals for 2025? I would love to hear them. So leave them in the comment section below and we can have a fun little chat. Until next time, I hope you have a super fabulous, fantastic day. I appreciate you so much, and I hope you have an amazing year. Remember to be kind to yourself, because love and kindness is what you deserve. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.